They called him Wemby, a 7'4" walking highlight reel. He can shoot threes, block shots with one hand, and move like a guard. Scouts called him a unicorn, a once-in-a-lifetime talent. 16-year-old Victor Wembanyama was already dominating grown men in France. But where did this basketball prodigy come from? And how did he become a global sensation before even stepping foot in the NBA? We're diving deep into the incredible rise of Victor Wembanyama, from his towering family to his unstoppable journey to the NBA. Early life. Victor Wembanyama wasn't born with a basketball in his hand, but it might as well have been glued there. Growing up in the Parisian suburbs, basketball was more than just a sport, it was a family tradition. His dad, a 4 long jumper, towered over everyone at 6'6". His mom, a former basketball player and coach, stood at an impressive 6'3". Genetics certainly played a role in Victor's incredible height, but talent is only part of the story. Victor's earliest memories are filled with the squeak of sneakers on the gym floor. His mom, juggling her coaching duties, would often bring Victor along to practices. He'd dribble around with a tiny ball, his eyes wide with fascination as he watched older players zip around the court. By the age of 7, he was no longer just watching, he was playing. Local club coaches were amazed by his size and raw talent. He wasn't the most polished player yet, but his height and natural coordination gave him a clear advantage. At 10 years old, Victor's life took a big turn. His height, which was already turning heads, caught the eye of a coach at the JSF Nanterre youth system. The story goes that the coach initially thought Victor was a grown-up assistant coach because of his height. This was Victor's official entry into a more structured training environment. Here, he wasn't just playing for fun, he was developing his skills under the guidance of experienced coaches. He practiced for hours, honing his ball handling, shooting, and footwork. While basketball was a priority, Victor's parents never neglected his education. They understood that a well-rounded mind was just as important as a skilled body. Even with his intense training schedule, Victor kept up with his schoolwork. There were no shortcuts. If his grades slipped, his coaches wouldn't hesitate to make him finish homework instead of practicing. This instilled a strong work ethic in Victor, a trait that would prove invaluable in the years to come. At 14, Victor's height demanded a new living situation. He moved into a special dorm for players close enough to walk to school. The dorm unit had a custom-made bed to accommodate his ever-growing frame. It was here, surrounded by other dedicated athletes, that Victor truly began to dedicate himself to becoming the best basketball player he could be. His coaches weren't just teaching him physical skills, they were also helping him develop the mental toughness needed to succeed in the competitive world of basketball. From France to the NBA, Victor's rise through the French basketball ranks was nothing short of meteoric. After that breakout performance at 13, he became a marked man. Scouts flocked to see the lanky teenager with moves that defied his size. By 16, Victor was already playing professionally for the French league's Alingby. It wasn't all smooth sailing. His team didn't light up the scoreboard initially, but Victor's individual talent shone through. He displayed a constantly evolving skill set, showcasing a smooth jump shot alongside his already impressive post moves and defensive dominance. Remember that viral video? It wasn't just a lucky fluke. Similar highlights began popping up online, each one showcasing a different facet of Victor's incredible game. He was swatting away shots with one hand, throwing down thunderous dunks, and even stepping back for threes that splashed through the net. Newspapers started calling him a unicorn, a player with a unique combination of skills never seen before. His fame transcended borders. American basketball fans were glued to his highlights, eagerly awaiting his next move. At 18, Victor made a big decision. He left his longtime club and signed with Asvel, a team owned by NBA legend Tony Parker. This move was seen as a clear indication of Victor's ambitions. He was setting his sights on the NBA. Playing alongside experienced professionals sharpened Victor's game even further. He learned to adapt to a faster pace and more physical play. The EuroLeague, a prestigious European competition, became his new stage. Here, he battled against some of the best players in Europe, holding his own against seasoned veterans. However, injuries struck again. A muscle issue forced Victor to miss the playoffs, a frustrating setback. But this setback only strengthened his resolve. He returned home to Paris, signing with the Metropolitans '92. This homecoming was a chance to connect with his fans and family. The Parisian arena buzzed with excitement every time Victor took the court. He didn't disappoint, putting on nightly shows with his dazzling skills. Throughout this journey, Victor never forgot his roots. He remained humble despite the growing hype. Interviews showcased a thoughtful young man with a clear passion for the game. He spoke openly about his desire to learn and improve, crediting his coaches and family for his success. By now, the NBA draft loomed large. Victor was the undisputed #1 pick. Teams across the league were eagerly waiting to welcome this generational talent. The pressure was immense, but Victor seemed unfazed. He had dominated every level he played on, and the NBA was just the next challenge. What makes Victor Wembanyama a walking highlight reel? At 7 foot 4 inches, he towers over most players on the court. But unlike some giants who struggle with agility, Victor moves surprisingly well for his size. He can glide across the court with surprising grace, leaving defenders grasping in air. Imagine a gazelle with the wingspan of an airplane. That's kind of how Victor plays. He can change direction quickly, leaving defenders scrambling to keep up. This allows him to attack the basket with long strides, making him a nightmare to guard in transition plays. But Victor isn't just a fast walker. He has surprisingly good handles for his size. Remember those old playground moves you used to do with a tennis ball? Victor can do all those, dribbling between his legs behind the back, but with a full-size basketball. This allows him to create scoring opportunities for himself and his teammates, something most big men can only dream of. And then there's the shooting. Traditionally, big men haven't been known for their long-range accuracy. They were mostly relegated to dunking and close-range shots, but Victor breaks the mold here too. He has a smooth, fluid shooting stroke that allows him to knock down threes with surprising consistency. This forces defenders to guard him further out on the court, opening up driving lanes for himself and creating space for his teammates to operate inside. Imagine the frustration of a defender. You sag off him to guard the paint, and he buries a three in your face. You play him tight, and he blows past you with a quick move to the basket. Victor's versatility makes him a matchup nightmare, and opposing teams are still trying to figure out how to contain him. But it's not all about flash and fancy moves. Victor is also a force on the defensive end. His long arms and incredible wingspan allow him to swat away shots like flies. He can block shots from seemingly impossible angles, leaving opponents shaking their heads in disbelief. Victor also understands positioning and uses his size effectively to clog up passing lanes and disrupt offensive plays. This makes him a defensive anchor, a player who can single-handedly change the momentum of a game with a big block or a key steal. We'll have to wait and see how Victor's NBA journey unfolds, but one thing's for sure, this young phenom is here to stay. Who do you want us to profile next? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome basketball content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.